Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we're going over the news that former Michigan Health Officer Democrat Abdul El-Sayed has officially entered the Democratic U.S. Senate race in the state of Michigan, making him the second Democrat to enter the race. In an article by the AP, it says that the former Michigan public health official and Democratic candidate for governor entered the race for the state's open U.S. Senate race last Thursday. Abdul El-Sayed, who is 40 years old, is the second Democrat to put his name in the running in what's expected to be one of the most watched Senate races in the 2026 midterms. He also is the second candidate this week to launch a campaign to replace Democratic Senator Gary Peters, who announced earlier that he is not seeking re-election. He said, quote, "It's way too hard to survive here in the richest, most powerful country in the world, and it should not be this hard to get by," he told the AP. El-Sayed ran for governor in 2018 as a progressive Democrat and was endorsed by Senator Bernie Sanders. He came in second in the Democratic primary, losing to Gretchen Whitmer by more than 20 points and beating now U.S. Representative Shri Thanedar by more than 12 points. Whitmer went on to win the general election and is in the midst of a second term. She can't run again for a third term also because of term limits. Senator of Vermont Bernie Sanders also endorsed El-Sayed on Thursday when he entered the race. Abdul is a physician who understands that our current healthcare system is broken and wildly expensive. He understands that healthcare is a human right, which is why he supports Medicare for all, Sanders said in a statement. A resident of Ann Arbor, El-Sayed recently served as the director of the Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services in Wayne County, Michigan, which is home to Detroit. Before that, he was the public health director of the city after declared bankruptcy in 2013. El-Sayed said he's inspired to run for Senate after the overhaul of the federal government brought on by President Trump and Elon Musk, including changes and cuts made to the nation's top health agencies. But he said Democrats must do more than just run on the opposite of Republican policies. He said, quote, "You have to come with your own independent analysis of what you think the problem is and how you want to solve it if you want to earn the trust of the public," he said. El-Sayed joins the state senator Democrat Mallory McMorrow in the Democratic field as one of the candidates looking to replace Peters. Now I'm going to go to that page just to show you what's going on here. As the article mentioned, Sayed and McMorrow are now the two only Democrats declared in this race, but that list is expected to grow as we're waiting on an announcement from Haley Stevens, a U.S. representative from Michigan's 11th congressional district. We're waiting for her to announce she's running as well. Some others have also publicly expressed interest, like Sarah Anthony, a state senator, Dana Nessel, Michigan's attorney general, and Joe Tate, state representative. And we also have some other potential candidates as well who have not yet announced whether they are interested or not interested in running. Andy Levin, a former U.S. representative from Michigan, Matt Sarr, president of Michigan's Professional Firefighters Union, and Rashida Tlaib, the outspoken U.S. representative from Michigan's 12th congressional district, all of which are potential candidates, but they have not given any indication if they will be running or not. That's what things stand on the Democratic side of things. There has been some hypothetical polling done, but it was only when Gretchen Whitmer and Pete Buttigieg were both considering running, so there's really not been any polling done yet for this race. However, we do have an endorsement for Sayed from Bernie Sanders and U.S. Rep. Ro Khanna from California's 17th District and Ruwa Ramnan, a state rep from Georgia's 97th House District. So the polling for this primary, we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out, but two Democrats are now in the race. On the Republican side of things, the Republican nominee from 2024, Mike Rogers, is officially declared. He is running for this race yet again. Three other Republicans have expressed interest in running: Tudor Dixon, Bill Huizenga, and Lorenzo Sewell. We'll have to wait and see how those all go. A lot of potential Republican candidates in Michigan as well that we're waiting to hear if they say if they're interested or not interested in running again. Michigan is expected to be one of the closest races. Tim Scott, John Thune, and Newt Gingrich all endorsing Mike Rogers already certainly suggests Rogers is the most likely candidate to be the Republican nominee and go up against whoever the Democrats nominate. As for the general election, we expect this race to be one of the closest Senate races in 2026. Three pollsters, Cook Political Report, Inside Elections, and Sabado Crystal Ball, all have the race listed as a toss-up, and I would absolutely agree with that. Race to the White House has it listed as still Democrat, also not really much to disagree with on that as well. Early hypothetical polling shows Dana Nessel leading Mike Rogers by 1 point, Dana Nessel and Tudor Dixon being tied, Pete Buttigieg and Mike Rogers, which is not going to happen as Buttigieg isn't running, and then we also have Haley Stevens versus Mike Rogers, which had Rogers winning, but very early on, so not much to take away from the polling as well. Michigan's one of the closest states at the presidential level and Senate level in 2024. Elisa Slotkin, the Democrat, defeated Mike Rogers, the Republican, by just 0.34%, a tilt Democratic margin, a very, very close race. Looking at the actual numbers here, just approximately 20,000 votes or so separated Slotkin over Rogers, getting 48.64% to Rogers' 48.3%. A very, very close race, plurality of the vote giving Slotkin the win. And also worth noting, this is on the same ballot where President Trump defeated Kamala Harris in the state of Michigan, 49.73%. Harris getting 48.31%. So a very close race in Michigan in 2024, though it is worth noting Michigan seems to vote more and more Republican when Donald Trump is at the top of the ticket than in off-year elections when President Trump has not been. Michigan's been one of those states when Trump's name does not appear on top of the ballot. A lot of voters that did vote for President Trump in the presidential years don't seem to turn out in the same numbers and vote for Trump. One example I could give is the 2022 election year. We're obviously in the midterm year. Trump was not at the top of the ticket. Biden was president, and Gretchen Whitmer won re-election by 10.5%. You could also look at the House races from that year, too, and what was supposed to be a Republican wave year, and the Democrats still did very well, making a very close Republican win in Michigan's 10th district, despite it being a more solid Republican lean than just half a percentage point. So what that means for 2026, we're going to have to wait and see how this all plays out. Michigan's going to be a very, very close race for 2026, and we're going to have to wait and see. As for the Senate map in 2026, right now I have about 51 seats listed as either safe, likely, or lean Republican, and I have 45 Democratic Senate seats listed as safe, likely, or lean Democrats. And right now I have 4 Senate races listed as battlegrounds, or the races I see as being the pure toss-ups, most competitive races. I have recently shifted New Hampshire away from battleground back to lean Democrat for now, following the Chris Sununu that he's not running announcement. I think New Hampshire starts out as a lean Democrat. As for the state of Michigan, as I mentioned, I expect Michigan to be a very, very close race. And I do think in a presidential election year, I think this race is certainly winnable for the Republicans. And I think it is winnable for the Republicans in 2026. But I think right now I would start the Democrats off with the advantage at winning the Senate race in a lean Democratic margin. I think without Donald Trump at the top of the ticket, in 2026 supposed to be a very good night for the Democrats. Democratic voters are going to feel energized and motivated to get out and vote, more so than a lot of Republican voters who only vote for when Trump is on the ballot in presidential election years now. I think Democrats will win the state of Michigan by more than 1%, but less than 5%, making it lean Democratic. This helps the Democrats hold on to one of the Senate seats they are defending in 2026, along with Senate seats in Georgia as well. That could also be competitive. If the Democrats win Michigan, they'll be holding one of their 2 battleground holds that they have to defend. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give the video a like. Make sure to click subscribe, as I post at least 2 new videos every single day that you are not going to want to miss. Also, make sure to leave a comment below telling me your thoughts about this video and what you think about the Democrats or Republicans' chances in the 2026 Michigan Senate race. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you in the next video.